Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to basically pull out the key insights from sources you're interested in.
Helping you get up to speed quickly without
Yeah.
getting overwhelmed.
Exactly. You want the core knowledge efficiently. Today, we're diving into emotional intelligence and social skills.
hmm
We're working from a transcript of the audiobook You Are Not Shy, which you sent over,
Right?
our mission, to unpack practical strategies you can actually use to boost your EQ, your social skills, at work, home, everywhere, really.
Let's jump in.
Okay, first big idea. Emotional intelligence, social skills.
Mm,
They're not fixed, not talents you're born with or without.
that's such a crucial starting point. Think of them more like muscles.
Right, you can develop them, strengthen them.
And
It's about learning, not innate gifts.
yeah, and this really hinges on adopting what the book calls a growth mindset.
Okay.
It's that fundamental belief that, yes, you can actually get better at this stuff.
So ditching the I'm just bad at parties idea.
Pretty much. It's shifting to, okay, this is tricky, but I can learn strategies. That belief powers everything else.
Got it. And the book quickly connects understanding emotions, yours and others, to how you think and act. It's not abstract theory.
No, it's very practical.
Mhm.
And it shows how you can start steering interactions more positively.
And I like this part. Seeing awkward social moments not as failures, but as data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like valuable feedback, a chance to learn what works, what doesn't, instead of just feeling bad about it.
That shift from judgment to, like, curiosity, that seems huge.
It is. You stop avoiding those situations and start seeing them as, well, like a social lab.
A lab for practice. Okay.
Yeah, and the book moves quickly from mindset to action. Setting clear goals is key.
Right. The SMART goals idea,
Mhm.
specific, measurable, all that.
Mhm.
So not be more social, but maybe I'll talk to one new person at the event next week.
Precisely. It gives you something concrete to aim for and track. And the book stresses that every single interaction counts as practice.
Even just a quick chat by the coffee machine.
Absolutely. Every conversation is a chance to refine these skills in real time.
So how does this practice actually, well, change things? What are the results?
Good question. The book explains that consistent effort leads to much greater self-awareness.
Okay.
You get better at noticing your own emotional reactions, how they impact things.
And that leads to more confidence.
Naturally. Plus, you get better at reading those subtle social cues, body language, tone.
Ah, the nonverbal stuff.
Yeah. And ultimately, you feel more equipped to handle those complex situations that used to feel maybe overwhelming.
And it's not just about you, right? It affects relationships.
Big time. Better communication, more empathy that naturally strengthens friendships, family ties, work collaborations.
Makes sense. And you mentioned emotional resilience earlier.
Right. The book connects resilience directly to being more tuned to your own feelings and others.
So understanding emotions makes you better at handling life's bumps.
Exactly. Challenges feel more manageable. Even conflicts can be approached with more calm, focusing on solutions, not just reacting.
Which brings us to self-compassion. That really stood out to me.
It's critical. The book argues being too hard on yourself, especially when you're learning and making mistakes.
actually slows you down.
Yeah, it hinders progress. Kindness, understanding toward yourself, that creates a safer space to grow.
Safer to try new things, maybe mess up a bit, without crushing self-criticism.
Spot on. It gives you psychological safety. And it keeps you motivated when progress feels slow, which it sometimes does.
Okay, practical tools. The book mentions journaling.
Mm-hmm. But not just diary entries. Intentional journaling,
Right.
like mindfulness on paper, really digging into what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, even writing from someone else's perspective to practice empathy.
And consistency is key there. Small efforts add up.
Definitely. The book isn't a magic wand, it's a toolkit for navigating human interactions more effectively.
Leading to better decisions, deeper connections, overall well-being.
That's the goal.
And it loops back to mindset, challenging beliefs like, I'm just shy.
Right. Reframing those as opportunities. That's scary conversation. That's practice.
And being patient. Change takes time. Setbacks happen.
Absolutely. View setbacks as feedback, not failure. The book also talks about optimism, setting positive expectations.
And having support.
Crucial. Trusted friends, maybe a group, mentors, people who get it.
Makes sense. The main takeaway seems to be experts were once beginners. It's about the desire to learn.
Exactly. Which sets us up perfectly for the next part. Chapter 2, Know Yourself.
All right. getting started within.
Yeah, the book argues that real self-discovery is kind of the master key. You need to understand your own internal world first.
Before you can really connect with others effectively.
Precisely. Knowing your feelings, your triggers, your patterns, it lets you act less on impulse and more authentically.
Okay, let's unpack that. Like understanding your own internal weather.
That's a good way to put it. If you don't know your own emotional climate, navigating the complex social world is tough.
So, recognizing patterns, thinking, feeling, behaving. Then you can work on changing them.
Right. Amp up the good stuff. Tweak the negative. Like upgrading your internal software for better social results.
So how do you start? The book suggests asking some tough questions.
It does. Really digging into what makes you happy, angry, anxious, identifying those core emotional triggers.
The root causes.
Yeah. And to make it concrete, it suggests journaling again, specifically for this.
Tracking triggers, feelings, reactions.
Exactly. Doesn't have to be long essays, just brief notes. Over time, patterns emerge.
Like, oh, I always get anxious before presentations, or I get defensive when someone gives feedback.
Precisely. That awareness gives you power. You see why you react and can then find better strategies.
Interesting. It also mentions SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses.
Opportunities, threats,
Yeah.
applying it to yourself. A structured way to look at your social and emotional landscape.
What you're good at, where you need work, what might help or hinder you.
It provides a good framework.
And the book talks about blind spots, things we don't see in ourselves.
Right, aspects others see clearly. It suggests actively seeking feedback.
Which can be hard to hear sometimes.
True. But approaching it as valuable data for growth, not a personal attack, is key. Others can be a useful mirror.
It also mentions personality tests. Myers-Briggs, Big Five.
As potential starting points, yeah.
Yeah.
Not definitive labels, but maybe useful for understanding natural tendencies.
Okay. And clarifying core values. Why is that important?
Because your values, integrity, empathy, whatever they are, act like your compass.
Guiding decisions, goals, making interactions more authentic.
Exactly. When you act in line with your values, things feel more purposeful, more you.
So how do you weave this self-discovery into daily life?
Small, consistent practices. Journaling, like we said, mindful meditation, just observing thoughts without judgment.
Increasing that moment-to-moment awareness.
Right. Noticing emotional states and triggers as they happen.
And the book stresses this isn't a one-and-done thing.
Definitely not. It's ongoing. Focus on one bit at a time, triggers, values of specific skill, incremental progress.
So the big payoff of all this self-discovery.
Ultimately, understanding and accepting all parts of yourself, strengths and weaknesses.
Leads to better emotional intelligence and more satisfying social connections.
That's the core idea. It builds that solid foundation for the next step, managing emotions.
Okay. Chapter 3, control on feelings. Let's navigate that.
Right. The book uses this great analogy. You're captaining a ship in a storm.
Okay.
Waves crashing, wind howling. Your survival depends less on the ship, more on your ability to stay calm, think clearly, make rational choices amidst the chaos.
Wow. So emotional control isn't about not feeling the storm.
Exactly. It's feeling it, acknowledging the waves, but not letting them capsize the ship, not being overwhelmed so you can't steer.
And the consequences of not having that control.
Well, the book points out we say things we regret, get paralyzed by fear, miss opportunities because emotions take over.
Whereas regulation lets you respond consciously, not just react.
Precisely. It builds trust, makes relationships stronger, makes you more reliable.
And it's not just for big crises, right? It's for everyday stuff, too.
Absolutely. Those little daily frustrations, handling them with more balance. It starts with understanding the link between thoughts and feelings.
Ah, okay. So influencing your thoughts can influence your emotions.
That's the key insight. The book introduces mindfulness as a tool here.
Focusing on the present moment. Breathing.
Yeah. Simple practices that create a pause. Space to think before reacting.
And cognitive reframing. What's that?
That's about challenging negative thought patterns. Like if you think I'm going to fail.
You challenge that thought, look for evidence.
Right. And replace it with something more balanced. This is a challenge, but it's also a chance to learn. Shifting the thought shifts the feeling.
Makes sense. The book also mentions recognizing early warning signs.
Yes. Those subtle physical cues, racing heart, tight muscles, irritability.
Noticing those gives you a chance to intervene.
Exactly. Before things escalate. Step away, breathe deeply, maybe set a boundary.
And this isn't just about reacting in the moment, it's long-term too. Building resilience.
Definitely. Through things that boost well-being, hobbies, nature, supportive relationships, and learning from setbacks.
Reflecting on past reactions, figuring out what to do differently next time.
That reflection is crucial for long-term growth. And having supportive people around makes a huge difference.
Like a buffer against stress.
It really is. Plus, viewing difficult experiences as learning opportunities, that mindset helps build control over time.
And it's not just about managing the negative emotions.
No, the book stresses actively cultivating positive ones too. Gratitude, joy, contentment.
Creates emotional balance, makes you more resilient overall.
Spot on, which leads to a very practical tip.
Daily gratitude practice.
Just taking a few minutes, thinking of maybe writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Sounds small, but it adds up.
And the book reminds us progress isn't always smooth, right?
Absolutely. It's often slow, sometimes feels like steps back, but every small win counts.
Pausing before reacting, calming down quicker, those are signs of growth.
Definitely. The chapter really concludes that emotional control is about a healthier relationship with your feelings.
Using them as tools for understanding and decision-making.
Right. Leading to more confidence and clarity in handling life's inevitable storms.
Great. Which leads us nicely into understanding other people. Chapter 4.
Yeah, and this chapter starts by highlighting those common moments of miscommunication.
Like feeling you're on totally different pages, even using the same words. Or sensing tension.
Exactly. It dives into that whole unspoken language of interaction, the stuff happening beneath the surface.
The nonverbal cues, the emotional undercurrents.
Right. And the key skill here is empathy.
Which the book defines as not just understanding someone's view, but actually feeling what they might be feeling.
Yes, even if you don't agree. It's stepping into their emotional shoes, so to speak.
And crucially, it's a skill you can develop, not just something you have or don't have.
Absolutely. It's like learning a new language.
Yeah.
It adds depth, helps you understand the why behind behavior, motivations, fears, desires.
And the benefits.
Yeah.
Beyond just understanding one person.
Huge benefits. Empathy builds bridges, reduces misunderstandings, prevents conflicts.
Good for personal relationships, obviously.
And professionally, too. Better teamwork, understanding customers, stronger leadership. It leads to deeper connections everywhere.
And how do you actually develop empathy?
The book suggests starting by consciously trying to adopt someone else's perspective, asking, if I were them, what might I feel?
Not abandoning your own view, but expanding it.
Exactly. Recognizing there are multiple valid ways to see things.
And in daily interactions, how do you practice?
Pause before responding. Really consider what the other person might be dealing with beyond what's obvious.
Stress at home, unspoken worries.
Right. That pause allows for a more understanding response.
And empathy isn't just thinking, it's emotional too.
Yes. Creating a space where people feel seen and understood emotionally. Validation is powerful here.
Validation, how does that work?
It's acknowledging their feelings are valid, even if you don't agree with the situation. Saying, that sounds really tough, instead of dismissing it.
Ah, okay. That makes people feel heard.
Immensely. Then the book shifts to nonverbal communication.
Body language, facial expressions, our bodies sending signals constantly.
Often unconsciously, yes. Learning to read these is like learning that silent language.
Open posture versus crossed arms, micro-expressions.
All provide clues. But the book cautions against jumping to conclusions.
Don't assume crossed arms means they hate you.
Right. Use it as information. If someone seems closed off, maybe adjust your style to make them more comfortable.
So it requires active observation, not just passive watching.
Key skill. Looking for patterns, dynamics, signs of discomfort. Understanding the context.
Practical exercises. The book suggests empathy sessions.
Yeah. Intentionally listening without interrupting or judging, asking open-ended questions.
And that body language journal again.
Can be helpful for honing observation skills.
What kind of progress can you expect?
Initially, maybe just more comfortable interactions. Over time, easier trust building, deeper relationships.
What about seeming fake while practicing these things?
Good point. The book stresses grounding it in authenticity. Sincere desire to connect, enhance your natural style, don't create a persona.
Right. Use the tools genuinely.
Exactly. The chapter concludes that understanding others is a journey. Every interaction is a chance to learn more about the human experience.
Makes sense. Okay, on to chapter 5. Building intimacy. Or maybe rapport.
Yeah, rapport is probably a better word here. It starts with that feeling of instantly clicking with someone.
That known them forever feeling after 5 minutes.
Right. And it asks, what if that spark isn't just magic? What if you can learn to create it more often?
So building rapport, why is it so important?
It's the foundation for trust and smooth communication. Makes everything easier, closing deals, resolving fights, just having good conversations.
The benefits seem clear, personally deeper friendships, easier socializing.
And professionally too, better leadership, teamwork, more influence.
So how do you actually build rapport? Where does it start?
Authenticity. Again, being genuine, honest. People sense fakeness. Authenticity creates safety for others to be open to.
And authenticity isn't oversharing everything.
No, it's about your words and actions aligning with your values. Appropriately sharing personal experiences can help too.
Invites reciprocity, creates connection.
Exactly. And finding common ground is huge. Shared interests, experiences, even small things.
Requires genuine curiosity and active listening to find those overlaps.
Definitely. Then there's the technique of mirroring.
Subtly matching someone's behavior, pace, tone, body language.
Yeah. Creates subconscious familiarity, comfort. But it has to be subtle and accurate, not mimicking.
Otherwise, it's just creepy or weird.
Right. Flexibility is key. And underpinning all of this is active listening.
More than just hearing, fully engaging, showing you're paying attention.
Right. Eye contact, nodding, verbal cues like, I see. And paraphrasing to confirm understanding.
Shows you're really getting it.
Exactly. And for practice, those empathy sessions in the body language journal come up again.
Okay. Realistic expectations for building rapport skills.
Starts with more comfortable interactions, leads to building trust faster in different settings, maybe forming deeper, lasting relationships eventually.
And that concern about appearing insincere.
Again, focus on genuine connection, reliability.
Yeah.
Use techniques to enhance natural communication, not manipulate.
Got it. So authenticity, mirroring, active listening, key takeaways.
Those are the big ones. Building rapport is an art and a science. It takes practice, patience, genuine care for others.
A big step towards mastering social interactions. Okay, let's tackle chapter 6, dealing with conflicts.
Right. And the book starts by acknowledging how nice a conflict-free world sounds.
But then brings us back to reality. Conflict is inevitable, part of being human.
Exactly. The message isn't avoiding conflict, but learning to navigate it constructively.
So reframing conflict not as negative, but as an opportunity.
Potentially, yes. Skillful conflict resolution is presented as a powerful tool. Can improve relationships, professional life.
It's not about winning or avoiding.
No. It's about processing disagreements tactfully, aiming to maintain, even strengthen, the relationship.
Transforming tension into understanding.
That's the goal. The book mentions our primal fight-or-flight response.
Which still kicks in even if the conflict is just about ideas, not saber-toothed tigers.
Right. Our bodies react physically, which can escalate things unnecessarily in modern conflicts.
So managing our own reactions is crucial.
Absolutely. Regulating emotions is key. Even strong relationships have disagreements. How they're handled matters most.
And handling conflict well reduces stress too, right? Resolves that lingering tension.
Definitely. Plus, these skills help in problem solving and negotiation generally.
Okay, so how do we approach conflict differently? What's the mindset shift?
View it as a collaborative problem to solve, not a battle to win. Staying neutral is important.
Keeping emotions in check. Focusing on the issue, not the feelings.
As much as possible, yes. Pause, breathe, focus on the specific issue, not personal attacks or blame.
Focus on issues, not personalities. Use I statements.
Yes, crucial. Instead of you always say, I feel or I need.
Like, I feel frustrated when, rather than you're making me frustrated.
Exactly. It expresses your experience without putting them on the defensive immediately.
And listening is just as important as speaking.
Active, contemplative listening. Let them speak fully. Paraphrase to ensure you understand their view, even if you disagree.
Shows respect, fosters productive dialogue.
Right. Then focus on finding common ground. Solutions that meet everyone's needs if possible.
Aiming for win-win, or at least agreeing to disagree respectfully.
Yes. Sometimes compromise is needed. Sometimes respectful disagreement is the best outcome.
How to practice this? Role-playing.
Can be very useful. Practicing active listening in everyday chats also helps build the muscle for tougher talks.
Realistic expectations here. What improves first?
Maybe just staying calmer in simple disagreements. Gradually handling more complex stuff, turning conflicts into opportunities.
What about getting defensive? That's a common reaction.
Very common. The book reminds you to use emotional regulation techniques. Remember, the goal is resolution, not winning. Focus on understanding.
Right. Keep the bigger picture in mind.
Exactly. The chapter wraps up by saying, conflict, handled well, can be positive. Lead to better understanding, innovation, stronger relationships.
Provides a good toolkit for constructive conflict resolution. Okay, next up. Chapter 7, Leadership Conversations.
Yeah, this one starts by describing those great social moments where conversation just flows.
Effortless, fun, everyone's engaged.
Right. And it suggests this often isn't accidental. Someone is subtly guiding it.
Ah, conversational leadership, not dominating, but facilitating.
Precisely. Making interactions enjoyable, meaningful. It boosts social influence, makes interactions more satisfying.
So you can gently steer things towards interesting topics, achieve goals.
Exactly. The book says even casual chats benefit from having a clear intention.
Knowing what you want from the interaction, even if it's just everyone has fun.
Right. Helps you guide things effectively.
Mm.
Networking might be about collaboration. A party might be about comfort and fun.
And making smooth transitions between topics, that's a skill.
Essential for flow. Avoids those awkward jumps. Skilled leaders make it look natural.
And open-ended questions, they're powerful.
Hugely. They invite deeper answers, encourage sharing, not just yes or no.
Like, what did you enjoy about X? Instead of, did you enjoy X? Gets more detail.
Exactly. Gives you more to work with, keeps the conversation going.
Humor comes up, too.
Yes. It builds camaraderie, lightens the mood, breaks ice, but
Needs to be appropriate, sensitive to context and audience.
absolutely can backfire badly otherwise. A key part of leading talks is making others feel valued.
Seen, heard, appreciated. How?
Validation, sincere compliments, encouragement, creating an inclusive vibe.
And encouraging participation, not letting a few people dominate.
Crucial, drawing out quieter people, asking their opinions directly, creating space for them,
Practical exercises, conversation planning.
thinking ahead about topics, desired outcomes. Building a mental list of good open-ended questions helps too.
Progress looks like starting conversations more confidently.
Initially, yes, then developing the ability to lead engaging, interactive discussions where people feel good.
What if you tend to dominate out of enthusiasm?
Common issue. Consciously practice active listening. Deliberately create space for others. Ask questions. Show interest in their answers.
So it's an ongoing journey. Every chat is practice.
That's the message. Guiding talks effectively, making others feel valued, key to deeper relationships.
Great. Which brings us to the final chapter, preservation on the border. Sounds intriguing.
It is. It uses a powerful analogy. Imagine your life as a beautiful garden,
Okay. Vibrant, thriving.
but with no fences or boundaries. Anyone can wander in, trample things, disrupt the peace.
How long could it last like that? Not long.
Exactly. This chapter is all about personal boundaries, those invisible lines protecting your space.
Not walls to shut people out, but flexible borders. Controlling what comes in and out.
Precisely. Protecting your energy, creating a safe inner environment. They're your first defense against burnout.
Especially in a demanding world. Learning to say no is key.
Fundamental. Protects your time, energy, attention.
And boundaries foster respect in relationships.
Yes. Clear limits create understanding, reciprocity, people know what to expect. It also boosts self-esteem, independence.
So where do you start with setting boundaries?
First, understand your own. What are your non-negotiables? What do you need to feel safe and respected?
And understanding emotional boundary, that difference between your feelings and others.
Crucial. Empathize, yes, but don't take responsibility for fixing their feelings or absorb their emotions as your own. Healthy separation.
How do you communicate boundaries effectively? Icing statements again.
Yes, clearly, respectfully, without aggression. I need or I feel uncomfortable when.
And learning to say no gracefully. That's tough for many people.
Very. The book reminds you saying yes to one thing is saying no to something else, often your own needs.
So prioritize self-care. Manage energy.
Essential. Notice fatigue, stress. Those are signals to reinforce boundaries, recharge, balance social time with alone time based on your needs.
Practical exercises. Boundary worksheets.
Can help clarify things. Role-playing the communication. Reflective journaling about feelings around boundaries.
What does progress look like here?
Maybe feeling okay, setting small limits, saying no without guilt. Eventually, others respecting your boundaries more, leading to healthier relationships.
Common challenges, fear of upsetting people.
Huge one. But the book stresses healthy limits benefit everyone. Reevaluating relationships where boundaries are constantly ignored might be needed.
Is it possible to be too strict with boundaries, leading to isolation?
Yes, that's a potential pitfall. It's about balanced self-protection and openness to connection.
So boundaries are tools for deeper, more authentic relationships, not walls.
Exactly. An ongoing process, evolving as you grow. Stay attuned to your needs and honor them.
Wow, okay, that covers all the chapters. Now bringing it all together.
Yeah, it's a good moment for you, the listener, to reflect. Think back to before you started exploring this stuff.
Maybe feeling unsure in social settings, confused by your own emotions?
Perhaps, but look at the tools and insights you've gained now, just by engaging with these ideas.
It's about moving beyond just knowing to visualizing how you can use these skills.
Envisioning the person you're becoming, the life you can create.
Let's quickly recap the areas: self-awareness, managing emotions, understanding others.
Building relationships, handling conflict constructively, setting those crucial boundaries.
And now it's about applying these tools in everyday life.
Picture it. Communicating confidently, resolving disagreements gracefully, leading conversations effectively.
The impact on relationships: deeper, more authentic connections, expressing yourself clearly.
Navigating challenges with more civility, more resilience.
And professionally, handling office politics, leading meetings, resolving conflicts productively.
Huge potential there.
Yeah.
And remember those boundaries, protecting your well-being, avoiding burnout.
And with practice, this all becomes more natural, right? Less conscious effort.
Exactly. More spontaneous.
Yeah.
Leading to more confidence, less social anxiety.
It's important to reflect on progress, celebrate the small wins.
Definitely. But also remember, it's a continuous journey, not a final destination.
Keep seeking challenges. Stay open to learning.
Yes. Embrace opportunities to practice in new ways. Your growth can also inspire others.
Leading by example with empathy, emotional regulation,
Creating a positive ripple effect in your environment.
and reminding ourselves this potential was always there. It's about unlocking it.
Enhancing authenticity, expressing yourself effectively, connecting more deeply.
So the message is, you have the tools now. Go shape your social and emotional life.
Build the relationships you want, handle conflicts, lead talks, protect your energy.
Every interaction is practice. Every challenge an opportunity to apply what you've learned.
It's a lifelong journey of growth and discovery. You are not stuck being shy. You're capable.
Ready to create the social and emotional life you desire.
This isn't the end. It's really just the beginning of your journey, equipped with these powerful skills, ready for what's next.